Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Brother Kelly Hughes, Chaplain of the Arts. We are broadcasting from the Valiant Theatre here in the heart of Winnipeg's greasy Tenderloin District, right around the corner from Old Market Square, where Fringe Fest is happening either now, depending on when you're watching it, or soon, or it's already happened.
It was great.
Yeah, it's a bit. That's how the internet works. Very glad to have you here for Kelly Hughes Live Shorts Fringe 2025. Whether you are watching on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube, or if you're listening on 101.5 UMFM, we're very glad to have you here. My guests are Matt Pilgrim, Simon King, and the fabulous Natacha Ruck. How's everybody doing?
Good. I'm fabulous too.
Good. You're fabulous too. You self-identify as fabulous. Where's the little things? You had your cards.
Oh yeah.
There. So you got to give me one though. Don't hold it up because it's not for this thing. It's not for the screen because nobody can see that. It's for me because I can't. Okay, I'm so ADHD. I can't remember anything. This is my problem.
Thank you.
Now, I just want to say, like, Simon King sounds like maybe it could be like a fake name. Matt Pilgrim for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fake name.
Yeah, that's the name I chose.
For sure, like maybe like an enemy of Archer from Archer.
Yeah, I don't want to out your dead name, but I know it's Scott.
Well, that's my husband. My husband is Scott Pilgrim. Oh. Yeah.
Okay. This is already too much. Matt, now I want to call you Scott. Matt is in the Birdcage, which is happening at Warehouse. Opens July 17th at 10 p.m. and that is the Birdcage you know and love. And then Simon King is in Cross-Eyed Rascals, the All Saint Show. It's Saints and Sinners because there's two naughty shows. Yeah. And then Natacha Ruck is in You're Good for Nothing, I'll Milk the Cow Myself, which was confusing because you sent me a message and you said this, and I only read that part before I read the rest of it, and I was confused about what kind of conversation we were having. But this is the name of the show.
You thought I was insulting you?
I just thought you were giving me, maybe. I thought we were having some kind of, somebody, I don't know if I should say this. Oh, I don't know if she'll listen to it, but somebody sent me a very weird message the other day. Somebody was having I live with mental illness, and I have a lot of people in my sphere that live with mental illness. And somebody sent me a very, very strange message the other day, and I just had to kind of, de-escalate it, right? Yeah. Anyway, I won't say what it is because you might listen to this. Anyway, and that is opening on the same day. Everything's opening on July 17th. And this is at, that's nice, Théâtre Socle Molière. Did they give you a French venue because you're a little Frenchy girl? Or is that a coincidence?
Happy July 14th. Vive la Révolution.
Is that
probably?
Yeah? We don't know. We'll never know.
I mean, I do talk about French things. And I talk about French grammar, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But I live in America, so my show is definitely in English and fairly American.
Oh, okay. And how long have you lived in the States?
20 years.
20 years. But you probably, like in your show, you probably dunk on America a bit? Probably?
No, I don't.
Oh, well, nobody's going to go. If you're going to dunk on the States, everybody's going to want that, right? That's what people want to see, right?
Yeah, when your friend is in trouble, you're going to push down on them? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, they did say they were going to take over.
That's true.
We didn't love that.
I apologize. I apologize for my country of residence. It's what it is.
Yeah, it's what it is. Have you been here before?
Canada or Winnipeg?
Winnipeg.
No, this is my first time.
Yeah.
Welcome here.
You're both locals, right?
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, local yokels.
Yeah.
Tell you what. Well, that is exciting, and you've been here for what, a couple days, day or two, yesterday?
Yeah, I arrived on Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday in downtown Winnipeg is fantastic.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What'd you find?
It's like, the zombie movies where
Yeah,
no
sure.
one is there anymore.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're walking down the streets looking for people.
Yeah.
And then they find you.
Oh,
Yeah.
just like in the zombie movie. But have you been in St. Boniface and people have been speaking French to you?
I haven't been there yet.
Oh, okay. I was in. My mom's in the hospital right now, and the woman next to her was bilingual, and her, I think it was her niece, was speaking to her in kind of French and English, which I always thought was interesting because I'm like, how do you decide which part you're going to say in French and which part you're going to say in English, right? Yeah.
How many of the things in your head do you decide before you actually say them?
Me? Oh, that's a good question.
How about you guys?
Boy.
I have to hold my tongue a lot of times, so I'm regularly editing what comes out. So I'm always thinking about it.
Yeah, no, I have to think about what I'm going to say beforehand, otherwise.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen?
Obviously, I don't. So
Yeah. Simon, Cross-Eyed Rascals. How long have you been with Cross-Eyed Rascals?
I've been in them for about 3 years now. A friend of mine was in the group at the time, and he got me in. I'd been doing some of their dark shows with them as a guest a few years before that. But
have I interviewed you before?
No.
Okay, sorry. I just I often have people from the Rascals, and I had 65 guests last year, so I can't. I've forgotten some of them. So the Rascals have been around for like how long?
Oh boy, about 22 years, I'd say. Yeah,
that's really a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? What's the secret to the endurance of the Cross-Eyed Rascals improv troupe?
Honestly, I think just the enjoyment of doing it. There's definitely a big camaraderie element. I know there have been a lot of lineup changes during that time. I think Tim Webster is the only founding member still in the group, and Mitch Crone's been there. He joined about a year after the group started, and so he's still there. But like there's, some of us have been around for like maybe 10 years, some of us for a couple. So, but I mean, I think the big thing with the longevity is, we just like doing it. We like, as long as we have an audience, we'll still keep performing. And it's just fun.
And I guess like when the Cross-Eyed Rascals started, it was mostly like it was clean for the first, stretch of time until you started doing your uncensored late shows, but nobody else was really doing a clean show, were they?
Not that I know of, unless they were like kids improv.
So, but I mean, do people bring their kids and stuff? Like people go, oh yeah, I know I can bring my kids because nobody's going to be talking about Bill Cosby or
people do bring their kids at the family shows. It's pretty consistent. With our kids shows, or with our family shows, we do want to make sure that everyone can enjoy it, because if it's just for kids, then and the adults don't have something they can enjoy, we're kind of dead in the water. So we want to make sure our show is just as fun for adults as it is for kids. So.
And after 22 years, probably some of those original fans probably have been, they're bringing their kids now.
Oh, I'm sure. That group started when I was a kid, so yeah.
And did you go when you were a kid?
I was curious about them, but I never got around to it. But I knew the name though.
You were improv curious.
Oh
as a lad.
I didn't get into it until my teen years. So
Matt, when did you get into it?
Into theater?
Yeah.
I've been doing theater since I was 5 years old, and I'm 48 now. So it's been.
Are you better than you were when you were 5?
Oh God, I hope so. I like to think I am.
What did you do when you were 5? What was your first?
Oh, there was it was a part of a church that I was involved in at the time, and
it's a cult. Come on.
Yeah, I know, totally, right. And my mom my mom's friend was the director and wanted to get me involved in theater, and so she threw me into that, and it was just a bunch of kids. I don't know if you've ever heard of Salty, the singing songbook. But, we did a kids praise production, and
so I'm right, basically a cult.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. We drank the Kool-Aid all the time.
Because I grew up in that kind of church too.
Yeah.
But my mom put me on stage when I was about 7, before we went to that kind of church. And it was either The King and I or Lil Abner. It was one of those, and I had a little part. I was just a little kid, and I think one of them, I don't remember if I had a line. I think I was just kind of a prop. But in The King and I, when she's explaining ICE to all these, and of course it's completely politically incorrect in that every single Asian person in the show was white. I think there was one Chinese kid. We managed to find one Chinese kid, but we were all the little kids, and the governess is explaining ICE to all these kids who live in Thailand, and my line is, "Walk on water," which I guess I delivered kind of like that because it became a family joke. I had elder siblings who harassed me for years and years and years and years and years. You know, when somebody would say something dumb or whatever, you'd hear, "Walk on water." Does anybody here have older siblings?
I am an older sibling,
Yeah.
so yeah.
I have
Okay.
two.
Yeah. So were they mean to you?
So my older brother, who's 9 years older, was really nice, and he would put us in this basket, my sister and I.
How old
And
are
he-
you?
4.
Okay.
And he would.
I'm just trying to figure out if you were like 15 or
No, 4.
big basket.
4 to 10 probably. And my sister and I, she's 1 year older, and he would put us in the basket on top, laundry basket on top of the stairs, and then he would go, "Yay!" and he would push us, and there was no break. We were just going down, and then there was a wall.
Yeah.
So I think he liked us a lot.
Yeah.
He wasn't at all trying to kill us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's, you have a really good,
Sorry, Greg.
you have a good and fresh perspective on that. That is good that
Yeah.
you're not bitter and you're not going to counseling about that.
He did try to teach me how to put plastic in the tailpipe of a car when I was, I think, 12. And my sister and I, we knew we shouldn't do it. We were like, okay, I don't think this is a good idea.
Where were you? Were you in France?
In France, yeah,
Yeah.
in the north of France.
Oh.
Isn't it funny that France has a north,
Yeah.
which is like,
Everything has a north, doesn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
But here is the real north.
Yeah. And the people north of us would say that's funny. They'd call Winnipeg the South. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's all relative. It's just like being old, right? Like Matt feels old, but there's always somebody older,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, my mom is 95.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's really old.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Matt, the birdcage is the birdcage that we all know and love.
Yes, it is. The Birdcage was originally written as La Cage aux Folles in 1973, which was a French play. And then in 1983, it was converted into a musical, still French at that time.
Yeah.
And then in 1996, made into a movie called The Birdcage,
Yeah.
starring Nathan Lane, Robin Williams, Hank Azaria,
Yeah.
and
A bunch of straight people, or is Nathan Lane gay?
Nathan Lane. At that time, I don't think he was out yet.
Okay,
Nathan Lane wasn't out at
Yeah.
that time.
He wasn't,
But this
yeah.
show that we're doing is actually an adaptation of the screenplay for the stage. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Lots of in jokes, lots of gay jokes. It's a riot from the beginning to the end. But there is, of course, an underlying commentary about the state of the world and how things. I mean, this was written in first produced in 1973, and it's still relevant today for all of the things experiencing with what do you call that, heterosupremacy and homophobia and all of that. So it's very speaking.
Well, and I guess one thing that I've noticed is I feel like, it's turned off here.
And it's still going.
It's still going?
Yeah, it's
You see,
just
it's
a
14.
small.
It's just 14 something. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to pause here for a moment. If you are watching on one of the social medias, thank you so much for tuning in. This is about to end. But if you are enjoying this and you want to hear the rest of what everybody has to say, just go over to our YouTube site, which is, I think, at the Valiant Theater 1761. I don't know why we have a dumb handle, but there it is. But go and check the rest of that out. And you can also watch and listen to the rest of our interviews. Thank you. Okay, our artificial pause is over for editing purposes. And Matt was just talking about supremacy.
Yes. I don't like the word homophobia because most people that are assholes aren't afraid of us. They've just got their own ideas about who they are and who we ought to be, and so I call it
Yeah,
heterosupremacy.
and it is one thing that's interesting. I can talk smack about my brother because he'll never listen to this, but my brother is a homophobe or a homo hater. I don't know whatever you want to call that. And what I've noticed is interesting is that he and other people like him have learned. Well, that's no good. He and other people have learned that to use better language, like to say LGBT and to be more sort of politically correct, but they are still saying, they still have the same kind of feelings and still have the same, things happening in their hearts.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed is that kind of a way for those people to express that has morphed into transphobia.
Yeah.
I mean that just with the vitriol and the energy that people direct, especially now with social media and with the bile that people direct at trans folks is just kind of fucking insane. Like it's just because they sort of know, they kind of know that well, gay people get married now and it's, whatever. I can't say anything about that.
Yeah.
But these people, they're in our bathrooms and they're in my daughter's swim meet, so it just shows that I guess I was feeling like I was hoping that the younger, the older people like us, like the Gen Xers, I was hoping that the younger generation would be better. And I was thinking, oh, maybe they're better. And then during the pandemic, I found out that they're not, because there's this whole generation of young, the freedom convoyers and the anti-vaxxers and all these people, and in the States, all these young people that have voted for Donald Trump, the bro, what do you call that? The manosphere. All the guys that like Andrew Tate and Joe Rogan and all those other guys.
Well, it really is kind of born out of ignorance, though, because a lot of these people who have these beliefs and these ways of thinking don't have people in their lives that have come out who have made this an important part of their life, or at least an unavoidable part of their life. So I think that's one of the reasons, one of the things that this show does is it helps normalize homosexuality. It helps make light of a lot of things and make it a little bit of a less serious topic by having a lot of jokes and things like that in the show.
Well, and of course the French had their teeth into that first because they were more accepting. Anybody that was talking about gay stuff in North American culture in the early 70s was pretty trailblazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, the other thing about this is it's just fun. It's entertaining, right?
Yeah.
So
it's
not a bummer.
No, you're not going to come to this and be down. You're going to laugh from beginning to end, and it's going to be a lot of fun for you.
Yeah, so. You're going to laugh from snout to anus. Why don't you put your little thing on there?
I was trying not to make a noise.
You're trying not to make a scene? Yeah, no,
I'm trying not to make a scene. Come on!
You're doing a terrible job.
Doing a terrible job of not making a scene.
This little thing. This is okay. This is something for people to watch. It's probably making terrible radio if this is on the radio.
Not at all that I'm a radio producer that has experience with microphone at all.
Are you an experienced radio producer with microphone?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah. What kind of radio?
Well, I teach storytelling, and so I launched a few podcasts in the U.S. One at the University of Stanford, the Stanford Storytelling Project.
Nice.
They had the State of the Human podcast. It's still alive.
Wow.
And then I worked for a company called Donde Media, and we created the Duolingo French podcast.
Nice.
And so if you want to hear French, learn French, that was a really cool project. But it's no more.
Oh.
But so
Well, that doesn't mean it was a failure.
Oh
Just
no,
'cause
it
something
was a
just
magnificent success.
magnificent.
Magnificent
Yeah.
success.
Ma-
We got to sing communist anthems in the podcasts that were created by corporate America. It was fabulous.
Corporate America created communists.
Well, there's a scene in the season we did the fiction, The Rebel Thief, which has a full-on, socialist, actually anarchist meeting, and they're singing L'Internationale.
Yeah.
L'Internationale, the Internationale. And I sing it in my show too, so it was kind of like a product placement.
I was just reading about the Socialist Party in New York, and about how, up until like the 40s, I mean, there were socialists in public office in the U.S., which was so interesting.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in the Cold War, things turned around and communism was made illegal and all that kind of stuff.
Well, Manitoba has a communist party. They just don't advertise very well.
Well,
during this last election, we got flyers in our mailboxes for the.
Yeah, there's a guy who runs because we're in I guess we're in Winnipeg Center. There's a guy who runs either in Winnipeg Center or Winnipeg North every time, and everybody hates him.
Yeah.
But I mean, people in the communist kind of community. I mean, it's very small, but
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was in high school, there was a gang of kids who were the communists, and then there were the anarchists, and then there were the guitar players. So we didn't have the jocks and
France.
Here.
France,
Yeah.
am I right?
So you were a guitar
boy.
player.
No, no, I was none of the above.
Oh.
You were Were you in theater yet?
No,
You were just a weirdo, and then you found later that theater was your people.
very late. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean very late? How long have you been doing?
Well,
theater?
I think the first time I set foot on a stage was in New York.
Yeah.
I was part of an improv group,
Oh.
Gotham City Improv. And I was just, tired of being in the audience and critiquing what they were doing.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, you should have done this in that scene.
Yeah.
And so I was part of an improv.
So did you just get on stage and start, like, you kicked somebody out of the way and you were like, I can do better?
I kind of did.
Or
I did a Kaiser Soze impersonation, and I won a DVD of a film by He Who Shall Not Be Named.
there's so many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kaiser Soze, no, The Usual Suspect.
Oh, Kevin Spacey.
Oh, Kevin Spacey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I won the best impersonation of him by just doing physicality, because I had no idea how to talk like him, because I wasn't a trained actor.
Yeah.
I was just, okay, I'll just walk, and then I look up to the camera, and I won. So yeah, I kicked someone else off of the stage. K-Pax.
Wow.
K-Pax. They gave me a DVD of K-Pax.
Wow.
Wow.
This is but this was a while ago. I mean,
2002.
Yeah, because you said the prize for something was a DVD of K-Pax.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an old story.
Yeah.
It is.
This
It was when I started on stage. I mean,
so you've been at it for a while.
so I did that for 3 years, and then I moved to San Francisco out of New York, and then I was more doing the storytelling in video and in audio. But then I was like, oh, I need to understand what it's like to be new at something. So I took a class at the Marsh Theater in San Francisco with David Ford, who's amazing, and he's my dramaturg. So I started taking classes with him, and then he was, oh, you can't just say your thing, you have to move. And I was like, well, no, I don't have to move, I can read. And then he won. I move a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, I mean, you can move or you can not move. Moving is good. Some people can get away with not moving. Do you know Martin Dockery?
Yeah, I love Martin.
Because Martin, one of Martin's shows, he's sitting at this table, and he's only like moving his head like for an hour, and he was like, I was like, wow.
Yeah, he has 2 shows this Fringe. So I'm looking forward to seeing them both.
Wow.
I'm not surprised. He has
The machine.
he has about 8 shows in his head at any given time. I know this because I've talked to him, and he's got. And I don't really. I mean, Simon's an improv because he can't remember anything. Like I don't like. What would you do, Simon, if somebody said, "Here, memorize 47 pages of dialogue"?
Probably procrastinate until the very last second, and then like just bullshit my way through it. And
Yeah.
keep my fingers crossed because I'm not an actor; I'm an improviser. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different skill set.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like improv has gotten me out of a lot of tight spots.
Like in real life.
Oh yeah,
Like when people wanted to beat you up.
Well, and like settings where
guessing.
it's like, I mean, I don't know of anyone who wants to beat me up.
Not right now.
Not right now.
Yeah.
But
we have some time.
well, yeah. No, usually in situations where I just, for example, if I was in a situation where we were having a discussion ahead of time, it was easy enough for me to just sort of, if there was a handout or something I had to look at, I would just skim it, and then I'd be able to just come up with a point related to it just right on the fly. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without improv. So it's been a very handy skill.
So it's helped you. I've been reading about ADHD, which is autism and ADHD, which I have self-diagnosed myself with. And one of the things is this combination of sort of liking things predictable and rigid, but then also desiring chaos, which creates its own set of kind of unique things. And one of the things that I was reading about was masking, and about how your brain doesn't work the same way everybody else's does, and you are trying to figure out how to act like everybody else, and you're trying to figure out how to get through. And I was thinking about it, and I realized I probably made my way through about grade 11 without really cracking a book. Like I was improving my way through school, and just kind of BS'd my way, and sort of, my grades were fine. The thing that when it started to fall apart was I did fine in grade 12 drama and choral music, because that was fun. I liked that. But it was it was physics or chem or one of those science things, and I just completely fell apart. I was just completely like, I scraped a 54 out of it or something, like, because I hadn't ever really, it wasn't that I was lazy, it was just that I couldn't process information the same way as everybody else, and I couldn't just sit down, look at a book, memorize things, all those things like a normal person. So I think I was probably improving my way through.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm sure burnout was a factor, because I mean, like if you're in university, whether you're neurodivergent or not, you're going to get burned out. So I didn't really. I had trouble in university. I did okay again in my theater classes. Yeah. Not so great in the other stuff, unless they were interesting. If they were interesting, I could listen in class, and if I listened in class to everything, I didn't have to. Often didn't really have to read, sort of dive through all the material and everything. So Simon doesn't like to be prepared. What's your process for? Were you the first guy off book? The last guy off book?
I was the first guy off book.
Nice.
I was for. I should qualify this by saying this is the first time I've done this, but I was memorizing my lines to have them memorized for the very first rehearsal, so that I didn't have to worry about going from the book from the very beginning. It's the first time I've done it that way. The role I have is fortunately not as expansive as the role of Armand, which, way to go, Corey. You've been a real trooper. But I played the role of Albert, the Nathan Lane role. And so it's, I didn't have as many lines to have to memorize, but it's the first time I've really done that. But I like to prepare. Even for our meeting here today, I sat down for half an hour in front of my computer, making sure I had all my facts straight, and looked up the history of the birdcage and things like that. So I prefer to prepare.
Well, this is interesting, because this brings me to you, because you did some preparation, but you looked into me and what I was doing, right?
Yeah.
But right away you were like, hey, you went and looked at the podcast, and I mean,
some guy says, hey, do you want to come to my basement to do an interview tomorrow at 9:30 a.m.? Sorry, my church.
yeah.
It's beautiful, actually. I'm going to research things about you.
Well, that's smart. I didn't think of it that way, but that makes a lot of sense. No, I just have noticed that like some people, even when I would interview people for jobs, when I had my place and I had a bunch of people working for me, and I would interview people for jobs, there were people that didn't even know really what we were and what we were doing. And now with the internet, it's so easy to dig around and find out about somebody, because almost everybody's got. My father-in-law doesn't have any imprint on the zero imprint on the internet, but everybody's got stuff out there. So
I find that it's this thing of, and we go through this as performers, like when you approach what you're doing, are you thinking that it's a judgment on yourself, or are you thinking it's about the other people? And oftentimes, like when you think it's about yourself, your performance and what you do, it's extra stressful. But when you think about the audience, how they're going to enjoy it or what they're going to experience, or when you think about the person you're going to talk to and what is about them, then it's less stressful, because you don't have to perform. You just have to be present with someone that might be fun and interesting or terrible.
I am both. Not always at the same time. How do your audiences respond to your show? Is your show sort of a confessional kind of thing?
So it's a solo show. It's a one-woman show.
You're good for nothing. I'll milk the cow myself.
It's a line my grandmother said. And so I'm alone on stage, and I'm basically recounting the story of how I moved from France to the US, which is why it's more of a love letter to the US. And but it's really a love letter to my mom. And I'm just sharing all of the things that were wrong in France, and all of the things that I found right when I reinvented myself in a different country. And it's kind of this idea of you can reinvent yourself, and sometimes you have to pay a price for it. So it's very funny. I like to think so. And it's also moving. Because there's difficult things happening in there.
And if people want to know what price you paid, they're going to have to pay their $13.
I think it's 14.
Oh, 14, sorry.
But there are listed on the website.
There's a tariff.
There's actually a discount. There's a discount if you're a chocolate lover, because I talk a lot about chocolate and how it helps you survive a lot of things. World War II, 9/11, chocolate.
The chocolate lovers had an easier time at 9/11. I didn't.
Well, yeah, because you had chocolate in your house, and you could eat it.
You know that there's a cocoa shortage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
you have no idea how much chocolate there's in my house right now.
Well, my partner makes cupcakes, and I went out to buy cocoa the other day, and the shelves were all empty, and I ended up at one of the expensive stores, and all they had were the little things of cocoa, and it was like $10. And I bought a bunch because we had to have cocoa. But yeah, the crops were bad, and
I bet if you go to Saint Boniface, where my venue 3 is, which is a great venue. It's not in the center, but it's fabulous. Le Théâtre Cercle Molière. It's the oldest theater here.
Yeah.
But the French, they're going to have cocoa. So if you go to that neighborhood with lots of French people, there's bound to be some cocoa.
So just go door to door. Oh, you mean in the stores?
Yeah.
I thought you meant the people.
Well, you can do that too.
How do you say excuse? Oh, maybe I know, because excusez-moi. J'ai besoin de chocolat. I need chocolate, right? No, that means. We all have a little bit of French, right? Do you have any French still, Simon?
I don't know. I can sing Frere Jacques.
Oh my gosh, thanks. Trader Joe's. Belgian chocolate. Look at this.
Oh.
You asked for it in French, so I have to give it to you. Okay.
You have any French?
Well, a little bit. When I was a kid, my mother tried to teach me a little bit of French, because she had a French friend, and so she taught me, merci beaucoup. so I could say thank you to our friend. But she also taught me ferme la bouche, and I got those two phrases mixed up sometimes. And so when our French friend was over and for supper, and I asked her to pass the salt, she did, and I told her ferme la bouche, and she says, "Excuse me."
How come you were taught ferme la bouche?
Because I was a rowdy kid as well.
Yeah. Here, you want some chocolate? It's from Belgium.
Ooh.
Those Belgians.
Yeah.
Have you been back?
Merci.
Did you ever go back to Europe?
Yes, my father, my sister, and my brother live there, so I go back, and then I come back with a suitcase full of chocolate.
So what's Belgium like? Because they're sort of French, but not really.
Belgium is fabulous. When you go to the restaurant and you order a coffee, they put a little piece of chocolate next to your coffee.
Oh.
They speak slower than people in France. They're more polite, and they have better.
Well,
chocolate.
I mean, they have to be more polite than the people in France.
I don't know why you say that. Ferme la bouche. The French people from France say ferme ta gueule, which is much more rude.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think I've been to Quebec a couple times, and I feel like people are maybe a little bit rude there, especially if you don't speak French. Then, yeah, you get better service if you speak French. So I memorized some stuff, but then if they keep talking to you in French and you don't have anything else, then you're kind of done. But I guess people are rude everywhere and people are polite everywhere. One thing I like about being able to curate my social media experience is I just edited out all the rude and terrible and homophobic and awful people. But every once in a while, I end up on a part of the internet. Like I've been uploading these, like TikTok. Is anybody ever on TikTok? TikTok is a fucking cesspool. Like, and I have to go on there to upload these videos. And one of the reasons why I do that is, I mean, I have an account and I don't really use it, but it will embed closed captioning, like it embeds the text.
Yeah.
And you don't have to. So it's just a thing you can run through there. You don't have to buy the software to do that. But every time I open TikTok, it's showing me some awful thing. Like there's a bunch of super racist AI videos about Punjabi people working at Tim Hortons. Like I was just like horrified, and I'm like, what is wrong? And then all these people, you read the comments, and all these people are like, yeah, go home. And I'm just like so it always surprises me because really, like during the pandemic, I was unfriending and blocking people left and right, even people I'd known for a long time. I realized that they were just awful, you know. Yeah. And I realized, you know what the Freedom Convoy is?
No.
So the Freedom Convoy, which I guess maybe they went down to the States, but during the pandemic, you know, we had lockdowns, we had rules about going from province to province, and then there were extra rules for truck drivers. And so the truck drivers drove to Ottawa to complain about that. And it was ostensibly about the truck drivers, but they gathered up all the awful other people along the way. And I, you know, and they were all anti-vax and they were, you know, all that stuff. And one of the things that was so upsetting for me, I mean, it was upsetting because it just seemed like, you know, my mother's old, you know, don't you have anybody old or not that well in your family? I mean, just do the stuff and it's going to be over, you know? That's kind of how I felt. But also I had a friend who's now gone, but she was in liver failure. And our ICUs were so full of people that were sick with COVID because after the vaccines, people weren't getting vaccinated. They were so full of the ICUs, we were sending people to other provinces. So if she'd had to get into the ICU, there wouldn't have been any room. Yeah. And that like that kind of just not thinking about other people.
Yeah.
That really made me crazy. But one day, I'm a mover is one of the things that I do for money. So I was up on Selkirk, which is just over here, and picking up my helper, waiting for him to come out, and he was dawdling as usual. And then I thought, oh, I'm not going to be able to get back in to the street here because there's all these vehicles coming. And then I'm like, oh, it's the Freedom Convoy, and they're slow rolling, and they were slow rolling down Selkirk up here, and I well, I don't exactly know how it started, but I ended up arguing with all these people, and I was just like, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And there was like, like an old man and an old lady in like a Delta 88 or something, and she's like, I bet you can't even get it up. I mean, they're just like saying like the worst things. They're like old people from South Park or something, and I eventually, like, all of a sudden I hear a honking, and I look, and I've stopped the traffic coming this way because I'm standing in the middle of the street and I'm yelling at all these people, and I'm standing in the middle of the road, and then I was just kind of like, and I got so worked up because it was a time when it was kind of, everything was kind of heightened, but I remember, like, I saw the honking, and I saw this guy, and he wasn't like being rude, he was just like, you're in the way and I'm trying to get somewhere, and I just was like, oh, and I just did like the Homer Simpson thing into the
It's one of those moments where you want to engage a problem, but in the end become part of the problem yourself by engaging.
Yes.
Well, you become more of a whole new problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then my helper came out and he said, boy, you were really mad. I've never seen you so mad. You look really big.
It's a strange thing because it's like this idea of, like, your show, like the visibility, because like we are a spectrum. There's cognitive spectrum, there's sexuality, gender spectrum. There's people, we're not all the same. There's not a way to be, and we're all on different ways. And if you are super visible with a convoy, you're basically wanting your story to be the story that's being told. And that's why it's really important when you have a show like The Birdcage, and you're like, hey, this is the reality. This was written in 1973. Joan of Arc, who knows if she wasn't a transgender person, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's a woman who dressed like a man and led an army. I mean, because God told her to. I mean, that sounds pretty badass queer to me.
Yeah, probably crazy too, because God said, neurodivergent, sorry. God told me to do this.
And it's this thing of like, this is not new. People have been here, people are here, and we just have to kind of like occupy the space in a way that's respectful.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we have a lot of trouble with. And I think that, we've never really been good at it. And the internet just creates this very interesting dichotomy to me, because in a way it helps people connect. So it's good in that it helps people who would maybe be very isolated connect, and people who maybe you're a kid, a genderqueer kid in a small town, and you have no community there, and you don't know anything about it, and you go on the internet and you find that there's people that are like you, and people that have the same feelings as you, and all that kind of stuff. But then it also is a place for the Nazis and all the other people to get together and to be emboldened. And then the people who, all the anonymous people who just, Twitter is also another awful place, where people just spout hate all the time.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
But my question for you is, you moved to the States, and it was, you created a new version of yourself, and it was a place that allowed you to come into yourself, more so than, where the place where you were born. How do you feel about what's happening now? Like, do you feel, I'm a junkie for American political news, and I mean, it looks like the country is losing its grip on the rule of law. How does that make you feel as a person who loves your adopted country?
It's very hard right now. I mean, I live in San Francisco, so we're kind of in this lovely bubble,
Yeah.
And it's really hard because all the people who voted for the current government,
He who
they
shall not be named.
they have real needs, and they have real like problems, and right now it's everything is made worse, and people are being the rule of law is not upheld. The Supreme Court is not doing anything but protecting the Supreme Court, and the judges they're fighting
Yeah.
quite strongly. But even if judges that were appointed by Republicans are like, hey, there's a system, it's a democracy. It's,
Yeah. That's the one encouraging.
Yeah.
That's the one encouraging thing.
But I know a lot of people who are really concerned, and I'll be honest, I don't really want to talk that much about it. I want to be able to go back to my country and cross the border, and be able to continue to contribute as a wife, a teacher, a dog owner that wants to live in that country rather than go back home to the family. But also I'm Jewish.
Okay.
My show talks about Jewish themes, and the things that you're describing, it's like right now the internet, it's just so scary.
Yeah.
And there's so much anti-Semitism, and Elon Musk is very, very anti-Semitic, and his AI has like lines of dialogue I never thought I'd hear again. Yeah. And it's a strange thing to be experiencing this, because like as a I will say non-straight person, it's like you have had lived your life in fear. Like your parents, if they were gay, they hid because they could lose their jobs, they could go to prison for hooking up. Yeah. And it's like we have this generational trauma that's on us, and it's kind of like when it comes back like this, it's very unsettling, even if my life has been somewhat easier. But America was a place where it felt safe to be Jewish. And right now the things that are happening make it feel less safe. Yeah.
And it is, and I won't make you say too much more, because I know you don't want to end up in an El Salvador prison, but it does. One interesting thing about the current administration is it is there's not any kind of ideological sameness. I wanted to say homogeneity, but I wasn't sure if I was going to say that right. It's this coalition of all these different people. So there are some, there's lots of pro-Israel people in there, in that camp, but then there's all these, the anti-Semitic people. There's this mix, and in a lot of ways, it's we're just getting some messages here on Matt's phone. Yeah. But in a lot of ways, it's this coalition of conspiracy theories. That's how they built this coalition. I mean, they're going crazy now about the Epstein thing.
This makes me think of saints and sinners. And
you're bringing it back into
and I'm
show.
Bringing it back to someone
Nice.
who doesn't risk being deported.
Yeah, well, I think that's more dark show material.
You said you have a dog. What kind of dog do you have?
She's a Manchester Terrier and possibly Dachshund. So she's black, and she looks like a little seal. And she's got brown eyebrows, and she hates me right now because I'm here. Oh. I'll send you a photo.
Does she bite?
No, most of the time, no. She's attacked one or two bicyclists that came a little too close. She did not throw blood.
I was at my friend's, and I can talk about my friend because she'll never watch this. I was at her place a couple of days ago, and she had locked her little dogs in some room, and then they got out, and then she's like, "Oh, they just want to say hi," and I go down to say hi, and this dog bites. Wow. The dog bit me all over my hand, and then she like gets the dogs out of there, and she's like, "Oh no, it's okay. They're not going to hurt you. They're just a little bit, whatever." And I'm just bleeding, and I'm like, because she hadn't seen. Oh, they don't want to hurt you. I'm like, "Do you have any rubbing alcohol?" And I ended up having to get
stitches.
No, just antibiotics because it was right by my knuckle.
Oh wow!
But I didn't want to. It's like 2 weeks to get in to see my doctor, and I didn't want to go and sit in the walk-in clinic. So I did. You wouldn't know this, but we have it here. Have you done QDoc?
No.
No.
QDoc is an online thing where you go and you sign in, and once you've created an account with your stuff and whatever, and you just sit there until the doctor comes along. You do a video conference with the doctor,
Oh wow.
and this guy was like, "Hi, I'm Doctor So and So. Are you allergic to any medication? No. What's your pharmacy? This." He's like, "Okay, I'll send it over. Okay, thanks, bye." Which is what I wanted,
Yeah.
because all I wanted was the antibiotics, and I didn't want to. Also, I didn't want to rat my friend out, because sometimes when you go to like a doctor and you say you've been bitten by a dog, they want to know, which dog it is, because
Because
when
you could have rabies and you might die.
when dogs bite people, they put them down.
Yeah.
So I wasn't I wasn't gonna I wasn't gonna do that. So that was, but yeah, you should do that next time you have a little
Yeah.
thing, because it's
I'll
very
remember that.
quick and you don't have to go anywhere, and it's perfect for weird introverts like Simon.
Oh, yeah. But if I don't have to leave the house and can still get medical care,
Why not?
Canada for the win.
Dog guy or cat guy, Simon?
I had a dog. I like them both for different reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I dated a girl who had 5 cats at one point.
Nice.
Yeah, they were really sweet. One of them was named Bo. She was named after Columbo because she was cross-eyed.
Nice.
So you know how Peter Falk had that glass eye, and so that's
one more thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I had a dog. She was border collie Newfoundlander. She was she shed like a demon.
How big was she?
Not that big. I mean, her head was about here, maybe. So she was she's more border collie size than Newfoundlander size. But she would howl at us when we came home.
Bossy as anything.
Yeah. Well, she was actually surprisingly pretty even tempered. So, but like her old owners told us that they lived by a school bus stop, and my dog would actually herd the kids. So, yeah.
Dog person or cat person over there?
Dog person. I have 2, Scooby and Scrappy Doo. And they look nothing like the characters, like the cartoon characters. But I'm allergic to actually dogs and cats, more so to cats than I am to dogs. So I take an antihistamine every day. But
we go through a lot of areas over here.
Yeah. So I love my dogs, and when we got Scooby, he was our first dog 3 years ago. He was a wonderful dog, but not interested in getting into stuff, making a mess, chewing things. Just perfect for a first dog. So we decided to get a second dog, and Scrappy reminded us why we only got one dog. But
How old was Scrappy?
He's still a puppy. He's just a year old now, and so we've
my partner and I have done a lot of fostering in the last I don't know how long it's been, 7 or 8 years. We've fostered or rescued probably 160 cats and dogs.
Wow.
And you could not pay me to take a fucking puppy, honest to God. Like even the last time we had a dog, the dog was like a year, but still basically a puppy. And like we had the dog for a week, and then it got adopted, thankfully. But like our living room looked like a fucking hamster cage. It was just, everything was just ripped to shreds. And the thing that I don't like about my problem with puppies is, like, you need to train that puppy. And if that puppy grows up and is a problematic adult dog, that's on you. Right? If they're great, that's also on you. So that's nice. That's why I like cats, because you can get kittens. You can do whatever you want, and they are going to turn out however they, we have cats, and one of them we raised from a kitten who, like, we were super nice to her, held her, all the stuff, whatever. You can't touch her. She doesn't want anybody, you know what I mean? She's just like, leave me alone. And then we have other cats that, one that's was feral, and she's, the sweetest thing in the whole world, but she hid underneath the sideboard for six months. Wow. I mean, so that's what I like. And the thing about dogs is just like that pressure. It's like having a kid. I mean, you've got to do the right stuff, and so we always adopt older dogs. One of our dogs actually right now we're waiting for results. He's sick, and we think it's probably bone cancer.
Mm.
And he's almost 10, and he's big. He's 120 pounds, 125 pounds. He's a Great Pyrenees Saint Bernard cross, and just a big, sweet guy. So that's tough when you adopt senior dogs, then you don't have them for as long. But you know what they're going to do. You know, they do exactly, as advertised.
Yeah.
It's not, you get a puppy, you don't know how big they're going to be, you don't know what they're going to do, but you get an old dog and they want to sleep and they want to steal your sandwich. That's pretty predictable. Are you excited to be here for your first time? I don't mean here, because I know that you're just happy that you're not in a basement with a creepy man, but
I mean, a church with 3 creepy guys.
yeah, sure. You're on a main floor with 3 creepy men. But are you excited to be in Winnipeg?
Yeah, because Le Théâtre Cercle Molière, it's like the oldest company in America, Canada, I guess. And it's a beautiful theater. It's 150 seats. And I think it's the nicest theater that I will ever have performed in. I've performed in a puppet theater. I've performed in a lot of black boxes. No, I'm not a puppet. And this is a beautiful theater, and I feel like there's a connection between the north of France and this area. Okay. So I'm excited. And I have 8 performances, one every day.
8 performances, one every day. Is your mother still around?
No.
So what would she have thought if she saw your show?
Natacha, you're crazy. Why are you portraying me like that? This is not at all how I am. I'm much more private. Much more private than that.
Is this a cigarette?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want your audience to walk away with?
Feel maybe like they're stronger facing the things that they will face in their lives.
Do you want to go see any other shows while you're here, or are you going to be too busy?
Oh yeah, I'm going to try to see as many shows as I can. Obviously, The Birdcage and Saint and Sinners. Martin Dockery I'm going to see because he's amazing, and I've seen him in California. And he's been super helpful with advice. There's a show called The Biscuit Eaters.
Okay.
That is a performer that I've seen also in San Diego, and I'm very much looking forward to see that because I haven't seen that show. I've seen a previous show, and he's pretty amazing. He was doing a preacher in the last show that I saw. And then there's You've Been Served, which is a shameless plug from my roommate, who's also coming from San Francisco.
Nice. Simon, what do you want to go see?
I'll definitely want to go see, obviously.
You have to say, we'll see the shows here.
Definitely Improvision's show. They're over at the Duke of Kent Legion. Those guys, they're friends of ours, and they're always funny as hell.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so there's Improvision. There's Chase Padgett's show. I think it's called How to Play Guitar Badly. He's a great storyteller, great musician. He really knows how to make those two things work together. And Martin Dockery's show has my interest. I've never seen a Martin Dockery show yet, so it's been recommended to me. So
Matt, what do you want to go see?
Oh, I'm an awful Fringer. I haven't even looked at the Fringe schedule yet.
Because you were too busy memorizing all your lines.
But one show that I have wanted to see in years past that so far has always been there is the D&D Improv show. So I really want to. I hope that they're still doing something this year.
I don't know if they are.
That would be.
I don't know that they are. Really, I thought I heard something.
That would be too bad for me. But that's one that I've always wanted to see.
Yeah. This is Matt Pilgrim over here on my far left, the Birdcage. All these shows open on July 17. It is Birdcage is over at Warehouse, which is a nice venue. Got a bar in there, right?
Yeah.
And Simon King is in Cross-Eyed Rascals, Saints and Sinners, and that is over at usually 188 Princess, just down the street, which is I think we're often ours at BYOV.
Yep.
That's for that, little David Letterman. And then Natacha Ruck in You're Good for Nothing. I'll milk the cow myself with a little cigarette here. And that is over at Théâtre Cercle Molière. a true story about surviving 3 world wars, a French upbringing, and a crippling addiction to chocolate. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. Art will save us all.